Okay, hello. So I had initially planned on making this video and like a few others like it pre 10th anniversary because that's where it would have made most sense, right? But my mic and stuff, yeah, you get it. So yeah, we're actually just gonna make it 3.5 months after the anniversary. W's. 2024 Dokkan was a great year for unit design, and today we're going to be counting off the top 10 best units of 2024 Dokkan. Please note that, of course, as always, these lists are carefully calculated through an intense algorithm. And without further ado, let's get on with the list. Now, coming in at number 10, we have Fat Boo, and this is really just a testimony to how good he is, or he still is pretty good. Obviously, he's not really used so much as a leader anymore. Boo Saga is still like a solid team, but it's not like, how it was the latter half of 2024. But yeah, Fat Boo is just designed incredibly well. Like, he can be used in situations that just would allow him to outlive the lifespan of a normal unit. He stacks defense, which is, amazing, just so good. But what makes him really good is, of course, his active skill, along with his just revive no matter what. He doesn't really do damage. He does heal a lot, which healing is so good. So underrated. So long as you're not getting one shot, like healing units, they just do so much. His revive obviously gives him a full heal, and then you just can pop his active skill after he revives. And that's basically 2 free turns that you're saying just like go next, right? I mean, it's pretty solid. He also basically full heals with his active skill. And then obviously the Ghost Usher, yeah. But yeah, Fat Boo's pretty straightforward. That's going to be Fat Boo. He's going to come in at number 10. Let's move on to number 9. Now, coming in at number 9, we have the LR physical trio of Super Saiyan Goku, Super Saiyan Gohan, and Super Saiyan Trunks. Now, these guys were extremely solid. They had a pretty reasonable leader skill. Quite a solid team. They gave themselves 50% attack and defense for multiple turns, 3 turns on their 18 key super attack, which is good. And they also further buffed superclass allies by 30%. But, it was bad 3 years ago. It's bad today. It's bad a freaking year ago when these guys came out. No defense on 12 key super attack. GG. It's so easy to give these units defense on super attacks, and it's just, I don't get it. But of course, obviously, while this unit did a bunch of great stuff in base, they did good damage, super effective against all types at full key, stuff like that. The thing that really mattered was their multiple turn support to movie heroes and all-out struggle category allies of 77% defense for 2 turns, along with 15% damage reduction. They also gave 3 key and 50% for the turn. But having 2 of these guys on the team and giving all your allies 154% defense and 30% damage reduction, so long as you have another movie hero or all-out struggle category ally attacking in the same turn, that's just so broken, potent. They, of course, then had a standby with a pretty reasonable condition. And Super Saiyan Goku, especially if you got him 24 key, he was very tanky. But, obviously they had some problems. One, of course, being another unit on this list, Carnival Gohan, just completely power crept the heck out of him in like 2 weeks, bro. It's insane. And then once you stood by, was that a word? Unstood by? Yeah, unstood by. Yeah, unstood by. They lost their 18 key super attack effects. And also, Super Saiyan Goku, he only lasts for 3 turns, which is pretty mid. Most of the good standbys last for 5 turns. So it's kind of weird. Jiren did. Gohan did, so it's just a little annoying, I guess. But yeah, great unit. They're going to come in at number 9. Let's move on to number 8. Now, coming in at number 8, and honestly, you can argue him higher, it's Super Easy A Tech Beerus. Now, this guy is nutty, especially on Broly's team. So basically, as long as you have 60% or more HP, you have 60% damage reduction. But if you're not under 60% HP with a 60% damage reduction, he can rage. And giant transformations, obviously, you know what they do with Orange Piccolo. They basically make you invincible and remove the boss's ability to do anything. No super attacks, no AoEs, blah, 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 blah. On top of just being super good defensively, 60% damage reduction, guard, he's also supporting and doing very, very reasonable damage. Honestly, he's just incredibly simple, but he's incredibly good. Unfortunately, though, no defense on super attack. Come on. Really? But that's going to be Tech Beerus. Very good unit. He's going to come in at number 8. Let's move on to number 7. Now, coming in at number 7, which honestly still feels low, it is LR Tech Gogeta, who I honestly thought would be higher, especially with when they came out. He was number 1 in the game. But you could just argue units over him, but you know, obviously this guy's not a leader unit, but he does have very reasonable super attack effects, 50% defense for the turn. Very nice. They have basically 60% damage reduction for their first turn, and then you can float them off if it's turn 1 or just leave them on rotation, and you'll be able to fuse next time they come around. They also create rainbow key spheres, just plainly, which is so good, especially against the hardest fights in the game at the time, you know, Bulma mainly. But creating rainbow key spheres in general is just a very good ability. And then, of course, you know, turn 4, 70% or more, they can fuse into Super Gogeta. And, of course, Gogeta is just amazing. He really was just stunningly strong, like ridiculous. Amazing super attack effects, amazing kit, 80% damage reduction, Scouter, 50% chance to just dodge any super attack, hits like a freight truck, guaranteed crits, you know, the whole 9 yards. He's just very incredibly powerful. The main problem I have with them is, of course, even still, like, now that they've tried to fix, you know, their previous hole by giving them 60% damage reduction if you can't fuse, it's still kind of like just not enough. Or sometimes you'll want to like wait to fuse into Gogeta if you're like in a longer fight, and it's just it's not pretty keeping these guys out in base form. But yeah, that's gonna be Tech Gogeta. He's gonna come in at number 7. Let's move on to number 6. Coming in at number 6, we have LR Carnival Gohan, and honestly, it's stunning that he's at number 6 to me. This guy, a few short months ago, I was saying he was the best offensive unit this game has ever seen, and now it's just like, it doesn't even feel like he's sniffing the top 10 by a wide margin. Obviously, you know, in base, he's got his solid super attack effects, 50% chance to stun on his 12 key, raises superclass allies defense by 50% on 18 key, pretty solid. And then he's essentially building up with all his attacks performed. His super attacks, every super attack gives him 77% attack, so he's hitting harder and harder and harder, and it's noticeably harder. He can quadruple super attack with dupes, or I guess equips, be super effective against all types. And then if he's got a Kamehameha Earthbred Fighters category ally attacking the same turn, which is incredibly easy for him, he gets guard and a 50% chance to dodge as long as you're under 77% HP. And then when he starts to get nutty, or when he started to get nutty, was when you could pop his standby deeper into the fight. And, you know, it did its thing, played a super cool animation. And then essentially, as long as you had only superclass allies attacking the same turn, he became a defensive wall. He was not getting penetrated. And once you we stood by with this guy for, you know, 5 turns, he'd launch the Family Kamehameha and it just one-shot the enemy. Nowadays, the main problem with Gohan is that he's not weak in his base, but he's obviously not what he once was. And then now fights are just so freaking long and they have so much health that like this isn't a one-shot anymore, which is crazy to say. Max damage is nowhere near even a one-shot, but you know, it is what it is. And then you have to go back to base Gohan. So yeah, it's not great, but you know, Gohan for his heyday, great unit, awesome unit. Super beautiful animations, the whole 9 yards. Why did I say that? That sounds so old. But yeah, that's going to be Carnival Gohan. He's going to come in at number 6. Let's move on to number 5. And coming in at number 5, we have... Wait, y'all hear that? I hear that. Is that... Yeah, it's AGL UI Goku, the most noble and supreme form in all the universe, whose radiant glow places him at the pinnacle of all beings in existence. The truly transcendent, the one above all. Us. AGL UI Goku and LR Evolution Blue Vegeta. Obviously, they came out during the last part 3 of the 9th year anniversary, and they pretty much were great all year and are still solid, you know, top 15, top 20 units to this day. UI Goku maybe a little bit less so, just because dodge canceling exists. Boo. But you know, the units are pretty much very similar, right? You know, they do their stuff. UI Goku dodges, Evolution Blue Vegeta builds up, it has damage reduction. UI Goku gets guaranteed dodge for the first turn. Evolution Blue Vegeta gets guaranteed guard. If UI Goku enters the turn with under 77% HP, he can revive. If Evolution Blue Vegeta gets hit 5 or more times, he can revive. Evolution Blue Vegeta builds up by attacking, UI Goku builds up by dodging. They both have some solid active skills that do damage, or they're guaranteed crits. They do a bunch of guaranteed crits just because they were the progenitors of this super really good and underrated crit mechanic in their super attack effects. Just super good units. And they were very good all year. I guess you could throw in Tech UI Psych. Nah. The heck? No. Put Tech UI Goku in the trash where he belongs. I hate that loser. I despise him. He's a stain on UI Goku units. It's just pitiful. But yeah, that's going to be the 6th year anniversary. Easy A units, they're going to come in at number 5. Let's go on to number 4. Now, honestly, I'm not even sure if you can really call these guys, or this guy, 2024, but it is Physical Glorio Glory Hole. This guy, you know, New Year's of 2024, right before 2025 hit, last units of 2024, technically. This guy, when he came out, was the best unit in the game, in my opinion. He had pretty much one of the best leader skills in the entire game. His super attack effect was very good. Nowadays, him just getting like the permanent 9% attack and permanent 6% defense isn't like as crazy anymore, just because like the Festival of Battles exists, and like this is honestly like, it's good in there, but it's not great. I mean, it's okay, but it's not good. He just doesn't build up fast enough. And of course, you know, you know the deal with this guy. You throw him in slot 3, he's giving all allies 1 key and 50% defense for 3 turns. 3 turns. He's doing like a billion super attacks because he has just super attacks littered throughout his kit. And then for every super attack, he gets 30% attack and 10% dodge chance, up to 30%, so he can get up to 80% dodge after he's done attacking in slot 3. And I mean, just in 2024, I just have like good memories of using him against the red zone burst mode. Kid Buu, and Glorio fodderized that bum. The little scum bum that Kid Buu was. He just got evaporated by Glorio, doing 30-40 million super attacks. Just stunning. He's also got an active skill, which, I mean, I guess it delays the enemy action, does a tiny bit of damage, plays an okay animation. And, you know, he's got good links, but, I mean, honestly, his links don't matter because he starts with 3 key, he gives himself 1 key in slot 3, and then he just needs 2 key from there. So it's easy to super attack with this guy. But yeah, but essentially, he's just a better of the LR Physical Super Saiyan trio, who came in at number 9. Like, his support isn't as strong, technically, but he doesn't need to be on rotation for 1. He's a lot better of a unit for 2, and he doesn't have any real restriction other than you need to float him off. You don't need to keep him on rotation like they do. And once you found out that it's hard to keep them on rotation because their team also doesn't have a lot of good slot 1 units, it was pretty clear that Glorio is just like, chef's kiss. But yeah, that's going to be Glory Hole. He's going to come in at number 4. Let's move on to number 3. We're entering the top 3 now. Yeah, coming in at number 3, it's Carnival LR Tech Broly. This guy is really freaking good. Stunningly good when he came out. Honestly, he was a unit that came out and people kind of like, they knew he was good, but like as he aged, he became even just more so dominant. Essentially, he's basically invincible. 90% damage reduction slot 1, 70% in slot 2. With guard, he's also supporting just, you know, baseline, which is good. And then, you know, you can transform him whenever you want. Transform in turn 1, transform in turn 99, whatever. And essentially, he's just very good, right? Good 12 key super attack effect of 30% attack and defense. 18 key super attack effect. You know, when this guy, and you know, he falls like completely out of the meta, it'll be, I promise you, it'll be a large part will be because he doesn't have defense on his 18 key super attack effect. No, that's trash. Bad 5 years ago, bad 3 years ago, bad 1 year ago, bad today. Well, maybe not bad 5 years ago, but you know, you get what I mean. It's terrible. But essentially for the first 3 turns of Broly, like Legendary Super Saiyan Broly, he's got 76% damage reduction. So he's essentially immortal because in slot 1, he's getting guard and 200% defense before he attacks. And then he gets 150% defense. So the 200% defense he's losing, he doesn't really feel all that much because he's getting defense from his 12 key super attack effect along with this, which is super good. With every attack, he's building up key and crit chance. And then he also nullifies enemy actions at 24 key, and then he gets 3 key 50% crit chance against a pure or Earthbred fighter category enemy, a pure Saiyan. And then also, on his last, full power big buff form, he gets just a permanent 26% active skill buff in battle, which is just very good. Great links, prepared for battle, shocking speed. He's just a super amazing unit, designed immaculately well, and he's just fantastic. The main reason, honestly, units like this will fall off is just because fights are getting longer, which kind of mitigates how good Broly is super early on. But yeah, that's gonna be Broly. He's gonna come in at number 3. Let's move on to number 2. Again, I'm not really sure if you can count this as a 2024 unit because he came out in 2024, but I feel like most of his damage was done in 2025. But it's LR Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. Stunningly good unit. Honestly, it's stunning that you could have gotten a copy of this guy for free during the 10th year anniversary. He's got good super attack effects, a great passive. If you have a final trump card category ally on the team and he receives a key-based super attack, he's got 77% damage reduction and he counters it. And then obviously when he receives a super attack, he's got a 50% chance of just getting 777% defense, which basically most super attacks he's going to take double digits from if he procs that. He's got the LR Gohan key mechanic for key, which is good. He's got a lot of built-in key inside of his kit. He just gets 7 key for existing. 5 turns, he gets an additional 22%, so that's 99% damage reduction potentially against a key-based super attack with a final trump card category on the team, which is super easy for his 200% Buu Saga team. He's also got his active skill, which gives him 77% active skill buff of defense for the turn, and it does some damage. It lets him do guaranteed crits, and it has a pretty solid condition. But yeah, Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, just a very solid, good all-around unit. Just very strong. He's going to come in at number 2. And last but certainly most, coming in at number 1, it is LR Beast Gohan, the Beast Ariser. So basically, Beast Gohan, when he first came out, he literally was the entire game. There's literally nothing that could even touch this guy's nuts. It just didn't matter. And then eventually, he kind of fell into the point where he was still super good, but there were units better than him. And then now we've reached the point where oh, those units have kind of fallen off, but Beast is still super good. So he kind of supersedes the units that used to be better than. Which, I mean, is all because of his immaculate design, right? He's got 60% damage reduction guaranteed slot 1 as long as you can get him to 24 key. And then he can easily get up to that full 80% damage reduction when he receives 8 or more attacks, which, I mean, you're going to throw him in slot 1, so that's probably where most of the attacks are going to be. And he can also do 5 or more super attacks, so yeah. He's, of course, still supporting allies with ki in multiple parts of his passive. He's got the LR Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, or LR Int Gohan key mechanic of just the extra ki per ki sphere. He's doing basically guaranteed crits. Not that his damage is super impressive. Even in his heyday, his damage was good, but it was never, great. But, he just has everything, right? Multiple turns of defensive raise on his 18 key super attack, and defense on every super attack effect. Oh my goodness. Just so good. And then, of course, he's got, his active skill, taunt, lots of defense, 24 key, just immaculate. The restriction is just get hit once. Obviously, great links in general, prepared for battle, shocking speed, plethora of categories, Beast Gohan, number 1 with a bullet, easy.
Excellent argument. Approved.
Still amazing to this day. Top 10 easily. But yeah, that's going to be Beast Gohan. He's going to come in at number 1 and round off the list of the top 10 2024 Dokkan units. Do let me know what you thought of my list, whether you thought it was perfect, as the algorithm would surely have it so, or if whether you thought, somebody was snubbed, or if you think that the order should have been different. But of course, just know that, as per usual, that if you disagree with me and the algorithm, you're wrong. But as always, of course, Thanks for stopping by.